Yeah, I'm excited to go to Kansas City. I was a part of that experience when I was an assistant here, and it's just it's a different vibe to be there at the same time that the men are. For various reasons, there's just a little more excitement from, both groups being there. Fans obviously can cross over and go to both teams' games if you're not playing at the same time. And just a little bit more of a festive environment that I think the student athletes will enjoy. For the coaches, it's the same, no matter what you're doing. But I think it's important that the student athletes have the best experience they can after a long conference season, and I think we'll enjoy it. As far as the tournament, it's kind of nice to get through the grind of Big 12 season. As you get toward the end of it, the players get really fatigued. It's almost, monotonous, I think, just the preparation, and it's a long stretch where they have to stay focused, and their attention to detail is good. And I think to be able to sort of reset their batteries a little bit and give them a new goal, have a new thought process, even though it's the same teams, which makes it difficult, but it is a different mindset. And I hope we're going there to play hard, hopefully come away with a championship and enjoy ourselves a little bit, and let the girls sort of at least breathe for a minute before they start the preparation for the NCAA tournament.
Question?
This feels like a little bit of a different Big 12 tournament for y'all because you're not one of the top 2 seeds going in as the 3 seed. Does that change anything for you in terms of matchups or preparation or messaging to the team?
Obviously, those 2 teams that are getting to play someone that played the night before, I don't necessarily know if it's an advantage to the first team, because I think most of us can play back-to-back. I think if you got to that third game, that would be difficult for those guys that play the first night. Sometimes it's an advantage to have gotten on the floor and played a game. There's some advantages to it, obviously, but I think it kind of shows up a little farther down the road in the tournament. A little bit different to prepare for someone already. We know who we're playing, so we're not sitting around going, okay, we might be preparing for this type of style or this one. We know we're playing West Virginia. We know what they do. We know what we're going to get when we play them. So the clear-cut preparation makes it a little bit simpler and not so vague, like you might be working on this, because you might play this person. We understand who we're playing. We know what we need to work on.
How much does it help coach to have that mindset of that one and done? It's like you lose, you win, you go advance, and just to get that mindset prepared for the next tournament?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think as you wind down conference play, you almost get into that mindset to begin with, because you're trying to jockey for position for the tournament. You're trying to enhance your seeding. There's some purpose for what you're doing in the last few games, because everybody is doing something that has a focus of a one-and-done mentality. So I think that sort of has already started for a lot of teams. I do understand what we're dealing with West Virginia, in a sense of they're very clearly on the bubble, so to say, is what most people say. So you're looking at a team that knows that they need to get some wins in the tournament, and that should heighten our attention. And for us, it's just trying to maintain a level of play and get ourselves ready as we enter into the tournament.
How do you keep your girls from focusing on the NCAA tournament and the chance at a national championship, and keep them locked in on playing for what's right in front of you, and that's a Big 12 championship, a banner still?
I don't think that's hard to do. I think that what you find a lot of times when you go to the conference tournament is either you see a team that somewhat feels fatigued and tired of conference season, and you're right, is just ready to go to the NCAA tournament and see what they can do in the big dance, or you see a team that is actually enjoying their time together, want to play as long as they can together, and still understands that it's a championship. It's a chance to cut a net down. And I do think that our team has that sense when I'm around them. We obviously have conversations, but I think it's more of a feel, what do they feel like, and are they fired up, and are they ready to play? And I do feel really good about where they are. I mean, obviously we had to take a day off yesterday, and having played on Sunday, we had to go pretty light on Monday, but I really liked their attention on Monday, and I thought that they looked like they were excited to go to the tournament.
You mentioned how you felt like your seniors did a good job of containing their emotions on senior day until after the game was over. I mean, over the past few days, have you sensed that they're now even past those emotions from after the game, or is your messaging still a challenge in terms of, like, we still have actual basketball left?
Yeah, no, I think they've made that really clear. I haven't had to say anything to the seniors about that. Again, you always have a team, to me, that either is really enjoying the process of all of this and the journey, or they're just ready in some ways to go to the next phase of life. They're ready to get away from each other. I mean, whatever it might be, you always have this sense of which one they are. And it doesn't mean they can't fight through it and achieve things, but it's easier when you have a group that's excited to be around each other, and the seniors are not ready for it to be over. And I would say that both of those boxes I could check right now, and that's a good thing.
When I look back at your season, some of the things that stand out are a win over the #1 team in the country. You go to Tennessee, you get a win. Some big marquee games like that show your team you can take down anyone. And maybe this applies more in the NCAA tournament, where you can make a run and win it all because you know you can beat anyone. But do you use any of those experiences, any of those wins for the Big 12 tournament to let them know, we've already played every single one of these teams twice, but here's what you can do. You can go and win a tournament. You were good enough to go and do this.
Yeah, we had that conversation last week. Just how good you are and how good you can be when you're on a mission, so to say, in the way that you play, and there's a connection with the way that you play. You're sharing the ball. You're defending really well. Rebounding really well. I mean, there's some common denominators to when we look really good. I think that I'm just not sure they understand that they can do it on a daily basis. And hopefully we're getting a little bit closer to that. But we do try to remind them of certain situations where they've looked like they can conquer the world. And, I mean, you'd love for them to bottle that up every day, but I think we're getting closer to being able to understand that, even though it is the end of the year. I mean, the tournament is what matters. And I just think that we have to continue to just step out here on the floor every day and get better and continue to improve, and hopefully we can get a few more people to contribute offensively. I think we've had some more balance, but you definitely hope that they understand they can beat anybody. That's been the message very frequently lately.
Did you guys play with West Virginia this year? Each winning at their home court. With the incentive they have, like you said, to win, to get in, kind of thing. What kind of challenge do they?
It's going to be a big challenge. That's the one thing I didn't say about the Big 12 tournament, which is no matter what seed you are, you can get beat. I think that's how much parity is in our league right now. I mean, I understand that Baylor is at the top of that, but obviously they can be beaten, first of all. And then second of all, if you look at how we've knocked each other off all year long, I just think that there's not a given. You're going to have to be really hungry in the tournament. I mean, you're going to have to want to advance. And then there's going to be that play-to-play mentality that you're just not going to be able to walk in and say, oh, I'm the 3 seed or whatever, and this first game's going to be easy. I mean, obviously we understand West Virginia's not going to be easy, but I would think that every coach is telling their team that right now, because there's not a given in this league at all.